So Vladimir Putin appeared to be mocking reports of Russian interference with the 2016 election while talking to NBC's Megyn Kelly at the World Economic Forum today. He vehemently denied the hacking allegations, saying even a kid could do it.
IP addresses, they can be invented. You know, there are very many specialists that can invent or fix it up. You know, a kid of yours can send it. Your girl that is 3-year-old can perpetrate such an attack. And they present it like this. They can pass it off like this, and these specialists can invent anything, and then they will blame someone else. These are not proofs.
All right, to talk more about this, Lance James is the chief scientist at Flashpoint. It's a company that specializes in security and threat intelligence. And by the way, in a minute, I'm going to get to Malcolm Nance, who's on the set with us. So in case I say Malcolm's name, you're going to know what it's about. Lance, good to have you here.
Hey, good to see you.
You're a hacker, and you're dressed the part. Let's talk about those comments. There were a number of responses from Vladimir Putin to Megyn Kelly about the fact that how do you know Russia was behind this? There's no proof, there's no fingerprint, there's none of this. A 3-year-old could have hacked this and you wouldn't be able to find out. Ironically, just yesterday, Vladimir Putin sort of bragged about the fact that it might be patriotic Russians who are behind this, just not the government. Is there some certainty as to who hacks anything?
So attribution is very, very hard. The problem is if you don't actually have the exact human behind the keyboard, you're kind of doing a lot of inference and guessing and putting a lot of circumstantial pieces together to hopefully get a full story. Just like in normal investigations that are not intelligence-based, a lot of it's still got to get that confession or get them to admit,
right,
and get that human aspect to it. So it is very difficult. But given what the DHS has put out, the FBI has put out publicly about what they call Grizzly Step or the election hack, the complex nature of this is definitely not child's play, and it seems a lot more mission-oriented, meaning there was plans. It included recon, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, all of these pieces, which are more of almost like a military designed operation.
So it's like when investigating a terrorist attempt, you can sort of tell when it's a lone wolf versus a more sophisticated attack just because of things that individuals couldn't do. So right. Donald Trump kept referring to a 400-pound guy in his bedroom hacking it. The implication is this may not, whether it's a 3-year-old girl or a 400-pound guy, the complexity here suggests organization and resources?
Yes, definitely. The infrastructure alone is really complex. Some of it's been around before, and intelligence communities have identified it as being used by Russia in prior pieces, based on their conjectures and their evidence. And that also, after you get into just the cyber, the way it was delivered was using strategic communications and planning, which in some senses call it reflexive control. You do something that makes a human influence or move very quickly against the idea that they thought they had, right? So in this case, it's like, oh, look at Hillary's emails, and then everybody got a different opinion or responded to it.
Right.
And so that play is that originated in the military intelligence space. And so it's just hard time to imagine a 17-year-old doing it. There's obviously, a lot of room to be able to still say it's vague, and we might not have enough evidence.
Right.
But at 17-year-old,
but the implication is it's not just about your skill in coding.
Right.
There's something else to this. The 17-year-old could be involved in this thing, but it's probably involved in as opposed to.
Yeah, there's a lot of planning that went involved in this.
Let me bring Malcolm Nance in. He's a